Well, hello. I hope you all are having a super duper fantastic day out there today. It's Friday. It's my day, and I'm live at 5. Hey, I'm live at 5. Hey, it's Friday. It's my day, and I'm live at 5. Hey, I'm live at 5. Come on inside of the room. Look, I think it's bad weather in all the different places. I know in North Carolina, I want to say it's raining here in South Carolina, and maybe even where my family is in Virginia, there's some rain or something going on. But one of the coolest days within the last week, all week long, it's been about the 60s or 70s. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the weather. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Denise Merriweather. I am the CEO and founder of Queenpreneurs Jumpstart Program. It's the #1 training environment for women in the world looking to leverage their knowledge, ignite their passion, and build a highly profitable business. How do you do this? By building your courage, confidence, and competence so you can accept, believe, and commit to what it is that God has called you to do. So listen. It's Friday and it's my day and I'm live at 5, but you also know what happens on Friday. Number one, I want to say, go ahead and share the video. Now, let me tell y'all where y'all need to share it from. The business page, me with the pink jacket. I need you to go to that page and I need you to share the video. And then I need you to put that you shared the video inside of the chat. Like say, hey, I shared it. Like you just hit the share button, get it out there into the universe. Because today we're talking about the #1 thought when things get hard. The #1 thought that you have, I have, and probably a lot of other people have when things start getting hard. Okay, Sissy says she has already shared. That's what I'm talking about. And look, before we get off the video, you know I'm going to announce who the winner is this week. We're going to be giving away prizes all month long for those of you who actually share. So it's just a registration. So I got the names of the people that shared. I think one day maybe it was 7, another day it might have been 3, another day it might have been another number. But look, I got all the numbers written down, and then I also have the names automatically pulled at random. So look, I want to say for those of you who may not have reached out to me to get your gettings, Dr. Roz. Hey, I don't know what you're waiting on. LaShawn straight already. And I'm sure this other person that wins today going to be on theirs too. But look, I want to go ahead and get into this conversation about the #1 thought when things get hard. So just go ahead and put it in chat. What's the #1 thought that you have when things get hard? Like when you're meeting opposition at work or you're having a breakdown with a client. Like I know I've been struggling with the client, had a little breakdown going on in communication. And it happens, right? Culturally, where you're from, different understandings. Because, email and text messages is what? Not real communication. Put that in the chat. Email, text messages, not real communication. So you got to get to the point where you understand that conversations on the phone is where it's at. It's the best form of communication. It's the way that you can make sure that things don't get confused and don't get mixed up. Is if you go ahead and have the conversations with people either on the phone or face to face. Like, don't be afraid of a conversation. My husband and I actually met with some people at my daughter's school today, and it was all talking about communication, making sure we're in the loop, making sure we're notified as soon as something happens, right? Opening the lines of communication and letting people know that it's okay. But what are the thoughts that you have when things get hard? Put it in the chat. I want to see it, right? I want to see what it is that you think about. I want to see if I'm in alignment with what I believe that #1 thought is. But what is the thought when things start getting hard at work or in ministry or in business? Text messages are not communication. Absolutely, Sean, it's not. And people got to get it. Like, you got to really get it. Okay, the #1 thought is frustration. What else? What are some other things? The #1 thought, the #1 thought for you when things get hard. What is the #1 thought for you when things get hard? So I'm gonna tell you the #1 thought for me. Okay, and Sherilyn said overwhelm. Okay, maybe frustration and overwhelm, but here's what I get as the #1 thought for me when things get hard. The #1 thought for me when things get hard is, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. Like, maybe this is God's way of saying this ain't for me. Right? All this breakdown, and if you overlooked that and you was like, oh yeah, I think that. Like, as soon as the breakdown started happening, like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Right? I'm ready to throw this. I'm ready to get rid of this. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of this relationship. I'm tired of having these same conversations, right? So you ready to be like, I'm gonna throw this towel in. I'm over it. I'm done. What I used to say, I'm done. I'm done. Yes, I need. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. I need something new. I'm over this. right? So we have that thought, that first thought is, I'm over this. I don't need to be doing this no more. Maybe this is not what God wants me to do. Maybe I heard him wrong. Maybe I'm on the wrong path, right? But I want to just give you a couple of things that I want you to consider during breakdowns. She said, yeah, throw in the towel. Yeah, you just over it. You're tired of having the same conversations, tired of talking to the same people over and over again, having people on your team that's forever learning. Like, it doesn't seem like anything stick. It never seems like anything is being communicated well enough for them to get an alignment with what the program is or the common goal is. Like, I know when I was having this conversation with my sister on last night about the breakdown that I was having for my client, for a second, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just a sign that I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And she was like, oh, maybe this is something that you need to do until you don't have to do it anymore. I said, okay. I was like, you're right. Right. But every time when you get into a point where you're frustrated and you feel like communication is breaking down and you don't understand what the problem is, what's happening, why can't things work out? Why can't this be easier? I've been doing this so long. It just shouldn't be this hard. You start thinking that it may not be what it is that you're meant to do. So I want to get rid of that thought. I want you to not go to that or let that be the number one thought that comes to your mind when things get hard, is that you're in the wrong place. You're not doing what God has called you to do. I want you to just put that to side right now. For some of that, for some reasons or for some things that might be true, but for the most case, it's not. And here are some other things I want you to consider. Number one, I want you to consider that maybe God is trying to teach you some endurance, right? Like for the race, that you can hang in there, that you can actually go a little bit longer, that you could push a little bit harder, that you can pull things towards you, that you can actually be the one. Put it in the chat, I'm the one. Put it in the chat, I'm the one. That you are the one to make the difference, right? Not the difference. I know my grandma, the difference, right? It's just something about saying that you're the one to make the difference. The difference is that there's no one else but you, right? There's no one else that has been designed more for this challenge, that's actually the person that could do the best at working this out. Like, this is for you. This is your assignment. You're the one. Put it in the chat. I'm the one, right? And I want you to be excited about that you're trusted with whatever the responsibility is. But I want you to maybe it's just endurance. Maybe God's trying to teach you some endurance. Put it in the chat. Endurance, right? Just to push through, to make it through the end, and to not always have that frustration, that overwhelm, but to strengthen yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically for what it is that you're going through, right? If it came to you, obviously He's going to bring you through it. What situation, what breakdown, what upset have you ever had to face that God hasn't brought you through? Has He not brought you through 100% of your breakdowns, upsets, frustrations, meltdowns, disappointments? Hasn't He brought you through 100% of those? So what would make this one any different, right? Even though you may feel like you're tired of going through it and it may seem like it's repeating, but I promise you, every situation is new. And when I would see things that's repeated in my life, or I felt like was repeated in my life, I always tried to handle the situation better. Like, while my sister and I was talking about my client, I was just like, okay, LaShawn, I need to practice some of the things that I've been learning in my communication program, right? I want to recreate her. I want her to get that she has been heard, that I heard what her situation is and how she feels about what's happening to her, right? It's not about being defensive. It's not about me taking ownership that don't belong to me, but I got to get that however it is that I'm occurring to her is real in her world. So I dare not ignore it, because whatever it is that I said did have effect on how she's feeling. Whatever it is that I did have effect on how she's feeling. So I take ownership of that. Like, I apologize. It was never my intent for you to feel this breakdown, upset, unsupported, not feeling like your communication or your expectations are being met. But maybe it's just endurance, right? Maybe this is God's way of saying, okay, Deneen, I'm testing out all these things that you're learning, you're giving your time to, and I want you to put these things to practice. And so then when I talked to one of the managers on my team, I had a conversation where her was like, look, I really want to recreate her. Maybe I feel like she's not being recreated, and that's why she's going down this spiral into. And the lady was like, no, I don't agree with it. I think you just got to be careful with your apologies, because ain't nothing you did was wrong. I was like, I get that none of the actions that I took was wrong, but there's something happening over there with her to make her feel like she's not getting what she needs. And we got to figure that out. And so I got the green light to write my email and to say the things that I wanted to say, right? So I had an enrollment conversation, and at first she wasn't in agreement with what I was saying, but then later on she agreed with me and gave me the green light to move forward. So number two, so maybe it's endurance. Number two, maybe it's just practice. Put it in the chat, practice, right? Because the only way for you to get better with upsets, breakdowns, conflict resolution, handling difficult situations is you got to practice, right? Remember how results only come in the world of performance, right? The world of performance is a real thing, because a lot of times we stay in our head in the world, in the land of make-believe. Remember we talked about that? The results are not in the land of make-believe. You can't wish something, pray something, think something, want something enough in order for it to come about. Right? Sherilyn and I, right before we hopped on, started talking about what she created inside of the Becoming the Change group coaching program, which was to clean out her garage, right? So she was giving me an update on the actions she has taken and the actions maybe she hasn't taken as of yet, right? Things that she's still working on, things that she's already done. But that's the land that you need to live in. It's not the land of make-believe, but the land of performance. The world of performance is where you need to be. And so maybe there's just practice that you need to have in that area or with those skills in order for you to be able to make the progress, the results that you want to see. And then finally, number three, maybe you just need to learn something. Maybe it's something you don't know, right? And maybe that's effective communication. Maybe that's you getting that emails and text messages ain't communication, right? Maybe it's you understanding that your words are powerful and they're creative. And when you say things like, well, maybe this is not what I need to be doing, or maybe I should be doing something else, I want you to get that creative power. So you got to be mindful that maybe this is just a situation for you to learn. And I want you to be excited about your learning. Put that in the chat. Be excited about your learning, right? Because whatever it is that you have probably prayed for or asked for, the things that you actually face in life or go through prepares you for the things that you're praying for. And what if we actually looked at all our situations like that? Like whatever it is that I'm going through is preparing me for what it is that I prayed for, something that I asked for, something that I want for my family, something that I want for myself, something that I want for my career, some change or outcome I want in my finances or my health. Like there are some things that's happening that's preparing you for what it is that you prayed for. It may feel challenging. It may feel like it's hard. It may feel like, the situation never gets better. It's always so challenging. Why does it have to be that way? But if you think about these three things and consider these three things instead of throwing in a towel and believing that this is not for you and this is past your time and your prime and you should be doing something else, I want you to first think that God is probably trying to strengthen your endurance. 2, he wants you to get some practice. And 3, you need to just learn something. And all those things are okay. And it's enough for you to stay in the game and continue to push through. Remember, we talked about Wednesday, double down. Put that in the chat, double down. Put it in the chat, double down. And on Monday, we talked about your milestones, making sure that you're measuring what matters, making sure you're pivoting and turning and changing the things, brainstorming sessions with people who are in your community. Because I need a brainstorming session with my team, Sherilyn, LaShawn, I want Tamu, I think I want Q, I want Quaya. And it's time to have a conversation. It's time to get this year situated, some goals out there, recreate what it is that we want to see happen, being a part of this community, the people that we want to touch, the people that we want to reach, the changes that we want to bring about in our own lives. And we need to just double down and get these milestones and continue to work on the things that's important to us and strengthening relationships with the people that's important to us in our lives. So look, I'm always happy to serve you. The winner this week, and I want to say thank you so much for all the shares, is Sherilyn Patterson. Hey, congratulations. Thank you for sharing. Look, she waving her hand. She inside of the StreamYard room. Continue to share, Sherilyn. Thank you so much. And I've given a thank you to you and LaShawn for all the shares, for the continued support, for being a part of my team, for all the things that you guys have done year after year. Like every time I look around, anytime I make a request and ask for you guys to show up, you're in the number. And I'm so appreciative of that. But thank you for sharing. Again, all of you out there, if you're watching the replay, #replay, and then continue to share, because we still got a couple of more Fridays left. I think maybe one or two. I don't know. But you got another opportunity to win for sharing. And I might continue with it in March, but I don't know. Let's see what's in the budget. Let me talk to my team and we see if this is something I need to be continuing. Because I'm telling you, it's because of them I'm live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that was something that they asked for last year. So look, Always looking forward to serving you. Congratulations, Sherilyn, all the people out there, Shelly Lewis, Dr. Roz, LaShawn, Tamu, all of y'all keep sharing because your name could be next. Keep sharing and just know that I'm appreciative of you sharing my message out to the world. I love you guys. Always looking forward to serving you. I'll see you guys on Monday, but it's Friday. It's my day and I'm live at 5.